Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on what time of the day it is for you. Welcome as you start coming on in. I'm Nick Perro. This is Banner and Backbone's Anti-Fascist Book Club, sponsor or not sponsored, inspired by, that's the better word,
Yes.
inspired by and framed on the Veterans Fighting Fascism Anti-Fascist Book Club guide, which above me here, you can go click on the QR code. That's your guidebook. That'll help you start your own. Tara, I just sent you the live stream link for the main feed.
Okay.
I know we've got a couple feeds going on. We've got yours with the Political Voices Network. Hello,
Yep.
everyone. On all of our feeds on Banner and Backbone, on Political Voices Network, on Tara Buster, on Sick of the Shit Publications, wherever you're watching us right now. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. This is the Anti-Fascist Book Club. I'm Nick Perro, co-founder here at Banner and Backbone, joined by my friend Tara Devlin from Tara Buster and Political Voices Network. Tara, how are you today?
Yeah, fair to partly cloudy. that's my that's my standard answer in
You know what?
these troubling times.
At least it's more honest than I'm good.
Yeah, I
Or
mean, it's
I'm
hard.
okay.
I always say it's really, it's hard to answer that question now. I'm racked with anxiety. Is the truth about
No,
everything,
no,
and
I
and
totally get
rage
that.
and rage. I have to say there is
Hmm.
it goes to rage as well.
Yeah,
I'm not in the depression, because anger turned inward is depression. So I'm not depressed. I'm angry. So that's actually healthy because I think we need to be angry and engaged because the antidote to that is action, as we know. So yeah.
yes, yeah.
Hmm.
Because focused anger is a good thing. Focused rage with direction is a good thing because
Right.
if you're sometimes, I mean, we don't always need to be angry and filled with
Yeah.
rage. Like
Yeah.
that's where we're trying to get to is out of this rage state
Yes.
and using the anger that we have towards what's going on and focusing it into efforts that make sense and matter is a
Hmm.
good thing.
Yes.
And a lot of us are really doing that nowadays. A
Yep.
lot of us, I say, everyone in the audience is really engaged. Our friends in our communities are really engaged. People are paying attention.
Yep.
Um,
Which
you
is
can
good.
see it. You can see it in places. Take Arkansas, for example. Chris Jones is running for Arkansas's second congressional district against incumbent Republican French Hill.
Okay.
Early polling came out from the Jones team yesterday or the day before, and it was in the Arkansas Times news, and and I read the Arkansas Times take on it, and they were critical and really fair on how they assessed it. And they're like, based on all these demographics, this is a problem for French Hill and not Chris Jones.
Oh,
And this
good.
is probably pretty accurate. Chris Jones is sitting at 46%. French Hill, the incumbent Republican, is sitting at 43%,
Oh, wow.
which
Good.
is within the margin of error of 3.5% for this poll. However, months out from the election, being down 3% in your district in Arkansas
Wow.
is not
Yeah.
a good sign.
For
Is
a
not a
Republican?
For a
Yeah.
Republican is not a good sign. It is a good sign for others in our state because we do have some really good candidates running, and I want to get one on the one for Arkansas third district, who is a Courage for Democracy candidate running against Steve Womack, and so I'm going to reach out there and see if I can get him on. Um, and I did Oklahoma 2 with Eric Turvey, and that was really cool. You should interview Eric Turvey from
Yes. Give
Oklahoma
me
2.
give me these
I'll,
people,
I'll
everybody's contact, and we'll get them on. Yeah.
yeah, I'll make sure I
Absolutely.
have your email after the show,
Hmm.
and I'll send you to an email
Yeah.
and introduce you because I think it would be really awesome to have Eric on for a show. He's running for Oklahoma 2,
Oh, wow.
which abuts my district here in Arkansas, and I have family in that district. Um, and I think providing them an option that actually listens to the people would be worth it.
Yes.
Because they really have poor representation in Oklahoma.
they in all these red states, they are poorly run red states, and it's
Yeah.
the power. It's the testament to the power of propaganda that the American people continuously vote for their own demise by voting for the Republicans. It's not me just slinging pejoratives at them.
Hmm.
The receipts. It's a demonstrable fact that Republican leadership or Republican power is worse for the American people. I mean, people suffer under Republican rule. It is just the
Yeah.
fact. Yeah.
Well, and so let's talk about why we're here today and what we're doing, which is the Anti-Fascist Book Club. And we're reading Surviving Autocracy by Masha Gessen. And it's a really good book so far. It we're right now we're on chapters 5 through 10, so we're finishing up part one. So if you have your book in the crowd and you want to inject questions and anything like that from the book, I'm happy to answer. We're happy to answer them. We like having questions and feedback
Yes.
and comments from this. So anybody, if you've got your book too and you've got some questions you want to ask, please feel free. We will get to them. We always try to. And I'm gonna just block that guy on
Oh,
YouTube
good.
real quick.
That asshole again. He's back.
No, someone else.
Oh
I'm just
no.
gonna block it. Communism and Christianity are both Jewish globalism,
Oh God.
and so we're just gonna note that that
Yeah.
comment happened, and that person is now blocked on YouTube. Thanks for being here.
So
Um,
tedious.
Blocking on YouTube. Oops, something went wrong. Reload. I must have already blocked him. Anyway, there we go. Gone, comment gone. Because also, like, what the fuck, gross.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
just it fits into what we're talking about, the
yeah,
divisive bullshit that, we're dealing with,
just
the
shit
lies.
flinging
Yeah,
propaganda.
yeah.
And so we're
Targeting
here.
groups that, it's turning people against each other, targeting minority groups. It's the same old shit, different day.
Yes, there's actually a really good part in our chapters, I think, discussing almost this exact sort of thing. Let me find it if I can. It was the death of decency. Um,
Let's see. I'm
Let
up
me
to like
find it.
chapter 16.
It was talking about Brett Kavanaugh
Oh,
and
yeah.
like
Oh,
the.
geez. Yep, yep.
Let me see if I can refind it. Sorry, guys. We could call it aspirational autocracy. Do. Sorry, friends.
Yeah, it's
Just going
okay.
back through, finding where that quote was. The death of dignity. Here we go. This is from chapter 8. If you have the paperback copy, it's on page 64. And there are at least two ways in which the concept of dignity is key to our understanding of politics. There is the dignity that participation in the political process affords each citizen. Having a voice, being heard, and exercising political agency are component parts of this form of dignity. There's also the dignity of political performance, with its reliance on honorifics, procedure, particular modes of dress, and a codified use of language. People have long understood that this performance can signal and even precede the content of politics. Of course, the public spectacle of politics can and has been used to exclude those who don't look or speak the right way. That underscores the interplay of the two kinds of political dignity, the dignity of participation and the dignity of performance. The challenge of democracy is to create procedures that sustain the dignity of performance while they continuously expand the range of inclusion. Trump attacks both sorts of dignity by degrading the performance of politics and by restricting participation in it. And I think that comment is a good parallel to that, because it's a performance of politics and it's a performance of hate
Yes.
and bigotry to call what's going on just a Jew's fault. and being that anti-Semitic just openly, because
Yeah.
that's what that was. That was just saying the Jews are at fault for all of this. This is a global Jewish conspiracy. Everything that's going wrong in the world is Jewish people's fault. Shh. No.
Right. But this is the oldest.
Just
It's been that's
yeah,
gone back. I mean, centuries.
and it's
Yeah.
still a fight that we're fighting. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, yes, the state of Israel is acting like shit and is causing a genocide and is massacring the people in Palestine. Yes, they are. They are also putting targets on the rest of us who are Jewish, who or are culturally Jewish or are religiously Jewish, who are not involved in any way with that, who fucking hate that, who hate the idea. It's just like there's Christians out there who hate Christian nationalism and who are good Christians. And I've been railing on Christianity these last couple days because there is a historical tendency for violence in Christianity, at least in its leadership and how the power structure is wielded of Christianity to subjugate those around them. But that's a different topic.
Yeah.
But I also openly acknowledge that it's not all Christians. Like, there's amazing Christian groups out there. There's amazing historical figures and modern figures and current figures who are and were wonderful examples of Christianity and of what Christ teaches. I have no problem with them. I have no problem with folks who are Islamic and who are also wonderful examples of human beings. Like, it's
Hmm.
not the religion I have the problem with, it's the authoritarian structure behind the religion I have a problem with, and the patriarchal structures, because we all believe that God is a guy, God is a dude, but no dude has ever created life.
All right.
I'm sorry, that's a woman's job.
Wow.
Anyway, part of
Yeah.
that, part of
I,
that,
you're
but
singing
but I
my
think that
song, brother.
that do, that that does diverge a little bit, but it also takes, like, the performance of politics has become the performance of degrading women,
It's
of
well the whole.
degrading other
Yeah.
people. And
Yes.
so, like, Trump has caused that. Trump has degraded our system and killed dignity and has allowed all this fucking bullshit. What do you think on that, Tara?
Well, what comes to mind actually is something I saw yesterday, a clip when he gave the commencement address at the Coast Guard Academy graduation when when Trader Trump gave the commencement address, and he told them, many things. Of course, it was a complete abomination. I felt bad for them, these people that survived and are graduating a very tough process, physically, mentally, on all levels, and then they get to their speaker is this tax cheating, draft dodging baboon who says people who serve are suckers and losers. But he said to them, he made some joke about how he's pardoning them of all their transgressions, all their infractions during their educational years, and then, I mean, whatever the process of demerits, demoting, or whatever. But those, and I, what I thought when I saw this, it's like there is no decency anymore. Forget having ethics, forget being held to a higher standard as an officer, right? And I mean, that's what they're training to be. It's just the whole point is to get away with your crimes, is to not pay any price for them, and that's what he's telling them. And I said to myself, how I felt enraged, of course, when I saw that, but the cadets who laughed. What are you laughing at? I mean, I guess you can laugh at absurdity, but it's another example of how Trader Trump has completely degraded our politics. The performance, just like we're talking about, the performance is it's. I mean, he's completely there are no standards anymore. It's all about criming. It's all about lying. There's no service. The only service is to self. So where does that leave us as a society? when you have no ethical standards anymore. And I think about the founders and of, yes, and all their hypocrisies and flaws and all that, but George Washington repeatedly would remind his fellow, all of the people under his command, which was everyone at that time, but that they were fighting for more than just the land. They were fighting for an idea, and that was self-governance. And that they had to be held to a higher standard. The Continental Army didn't get paid for years, as we know, and that started the whole Newburgh conspiracy, where they wanted to march on the Capitol, and George Washington put an end to it and said, no, we're not fighting for money. We're fighting for freedom, an idea of self-governance, which is the last hope of this earth. And and he tamped that rebellion down. And I think about that. Imagine if George Washington, and yes, he's a slave owner, he's a hypocrite, he was a man of his time, that is for sure. But when they said all men are created equal, they meant all men, of course, not women. Women were furniture. They were part of the property. But he also understood that, he was offered to be the king. They offered him unlimited power, and he turned it down. Yeah. So, and I just think about the fact that we have this complete on the 250th anniversary of the founding. We have someone who is an abomination. It was the complete opposite of the founding ideals. They have nerve calling themselves patriots because they're the farthest thing from patriots. So yeah, and he, even during the first campaign, there was a clip of Trump, which I've played on my show a lot, where he's like, "Oh, anybody could be president. You can act presidential," and then he walks around on stage, making a joke out of the presidency. Like, you're not supposed. It's all a joke. It's all a fraud. Everybody's conning. You know what I mean? So there's no truth anymore. There's no respect. There's no standards. I don't know. I mean, it drives me mad, because if any kid behaved like this, they would be punished. But what are you supposed to do now, right? I mean, he's telling officers who are graduating from the Coast Guard Academy, F it, basically. Get away with your bullshit. If you can get away with it, get away with it. So yeah, it sucks. The whole thing is we should be embarrassed, this country. But this is autocracy. It's a kleptocracy. It's corrupt. It's all about lining your own pockets. What can you take? How fast can you take it? And we're witnessing it on all levels. I mean, the corruption is like bats out of the belfry now, man. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's interesting when you talk about corruption, because I want to bring us back to page 44 in the paperback copy. It's chapter, just so everybody knows, because you talk about it's chapter 5. We could call it corruption, is the name of the chapter. And I'll read the passage from it, because it's interesting you talk about corruption, and it's interesting the way that Masha Gessen talks about corruption in the Corruption versus Transparency. And it's so transparently corrupt. I don't know if they are opposites, but I don't know. It's interesting. So let me read from it. So here we go. Corruption could not be the right word to apply to the Trump administration. Corruption would not be the right word to apply to the Trump administration. The term implies deception. It assumes that the public official understands that they should not benefit from the public trust, but duplicitously, they do it anyways. The opposite of corruption in political discourse is transparency. Indeed, the global anti-corruption organization calls itself Transparency International. Trump, his family, and his officials are not duplicitous. They appear to act in accordance with the belief that political power should produce personal wealth. And in this, if not in the specifics of their business arrangements, they are transparent. When the coronavirus came, the Trump administration followed the logic of competition and profit. Officials tried to persuade a German company working on a potential vaccine to sell it first and perhaps exclusively to the United States. Rather than the
Uh-oh. You're breaking up
federal
there. You're break
government,
Uh-oh.
how did
Nick, Nick, you're breaking up. I don't know if it's everybody else is having the same issue, but
everybody hear me?
let's see. It
Am
seems
I back?
it seems like you're back, but yeah, for a second
Okay.
there. Like
Where did I
maybe
break
30.
up there?
It was like 30 seconds. It was hard to hear at
Interesting.
all. So, yeah.
Interesting. I'll start from the second paragraph that I was on.
Mhm. Mhm.
When the coronavirus came, the Trump
Mhm.
administration followed the logic of competition and profit. Officials tried to persuade a German company working on a potential vaccine to sell it first, and perhaps exclusively, to the United States. Rather than coordinate the production and distribution of ventilators, the federal government created a system whereby states bid against one another and the federal government. Trump gave Jared Kushner broad authority to organize a private sector response to the pandemic, working in parallel with or around the government effort. In other words, Trump acted in ways that would be unthinkable for a political leader, a man entrusted with the welfare of millions of people. But his administration uses a different calculus and makes no secret of it. Trumpism builds on weaknesses and opportunities inherent in the logic of the system. The American system of government has never separated money from political power, and in the 2 decades before Trump's election, the role of money in American politics had grown manifold. I'll stop there. It talks then about the impact of money
Mhm.
and all of that, but you were talking about corruption
Right.
and
It's true. Yep.
the idea of corruption, and they are corrupt. It's nepotism. It's a kleptocracy. It's a kakistocracy. It's
Yeah.
all those ocracies of other than democracy. It is the autocracy side of the world, and yeah, it is blatant nepotism. It is rampant corruption that is transparent, that is
Right.
in the open. I don't think corruption and transparency are truly opposites. I think that's
Mhm.
a wrong framing, in my opinion. Um, that's the wrong framing? Is corruption can be done transparently. You
Yeah.
can
Well,
be hyper corrupt in the open. It just makes people less likely to think it's corruption.
you're right. Yeah. And that's what we've been dealing with since he came down the escalator. The
And
lies,
it's
the corruption, it's right out in the open. That's why it's kind of disorienting and people just don't know how to respond to it. And it gets you on your back foot. But then it's that's how the mainstream press enables it too. Because like wait, isn't this illegal? You should even
mhm,
the January 6th insurrection reparations. That shouldn't he should have no control over this at all. This is not even
yeah,
like how is this even happening? There's he's the executive doesn't hold any purse strings. He can't just like steal from the treasury and make a fund, and
yeah.
especially for insurrectionists. So
Especially because the Treasury was specifically created by the gathered and pooled wealth of the original nobility class in the states that gave up their titles and their collective wealths to fund the nation. And that's been part of the system. And yes, I see the comment, Kelly. I see your comment. Money has created a royalty class in the US for decades. Money has created a royalty class in the US since its inception. Money has always created a different class in the US. Our founding principles are basically on capitalism in a lot of ways. And we've always had a ruling class. In the book, Gessen calls it oligarchs. I refer to them as robber barons because that's
mhm,
more American than oligarchs. And can we stop Russifying things? Like, let's
yeah,
stop using the Russian words for shit. We're not in Russia. Let's use American English words for them. I don't want to live under the Russian ideals of what we name things either. These are robber barons. We've had them since our inception. We've always had a political ruling class. Can capitalism be controlled? Yes, it
Yes.
absolutely can. It's called social democracy.
Right. And we did
We
it
can
before.
and regulatory bodies. And instead of viewing government as a business, we view government as what it really is, which is service provider. And those services that it provides are to the betterment of the people, which in itself would require capitalism to be constrained,
Right.
because rampant unfettered capitalism leads to authoritarianism and nepotism and corruption. So there are ways capitalism can be controlled. A lot of countries do an okay job at it. You know what the cool thing is? We're at a point where we could rewrite the Constitution in a lot of ways. We could amend it again over and over until it's right. And we can learn from what the other countries have done and
We
what has
could.
worked or failed in their countries. And we're at a point where we can do that. We can make those decisions. We can stop the data centers. We can fight data centers. We can, in
Right.
areas like Virginia, they are actively being fought. The role of government is to, our government specifically says it needs to provide for us life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You cannot have life if you are under the rule of an authoritarian's thumb. You cannot have liberty if you are in a surveillance state and all of your water and food and
Yeah.
and all of those services are being eaten up, and electricity and power, whatever it is, are being eaten up by other things. You cannot have life, and you cannot have the pursuit of happiness, again, if you're under constant threat of death or fear of death. An apartheid state does not allow for the pursuit of happiness. The Confederate state does not allow for the pursuit of happiness.
No.
And
Well, yeah.
we can fight through that. Like, yeah, we can get through that. There are plenty of people who are running for Congress right now who are willing to make these hard choices, that can fight data centers, that can stop what's going on and actually put real regulatory oversight in place before things get out of control, and who are coming up with creative ideas for approaching situations like AI, where AI is going to lie to you to protect itself. We already know it does this. It
Yes.
does this all the
It
time.
does. And
It's a
yeah.
feature, not a bug. It lies to protect itself.
Right.
We have people who are thinking of ways to regulate around that and work with that as a core to work through breaking that down and stopping the data centers, things like that. We cannot have that in a system that is rampantly corrupt and blatantly under the rule of our continued ruling class of robber barons. We've had political names and families in our country since the beginning. The Adams family, the Kennedys, the Bushes, the Clintons, the Trumps. They've been figures in American ideology since the KKK with Fred Trump. Um, we have plenty of royal sounding families, the Carnegies, the Mellons, the all the old robber barons that actually were forced to make things. Hey, guess what? Jeff Bezos, Elon
Oh
Musk,
God.
Peter
Yeah.
Thiel, you guys are considered robber barons. And the greed and the JD Vance, folks like you're you're the modern robber barons. And I don't know if y'all have read history books, but it didn't work out well for the robber barons.
Well.
It didn't work out well for the French nobility during the
Yeah.
French Revolution. It didn't work out well for any of these authoritarian leaders. It doesn't work out well.
Well,
And
eventually it doesn't work out.
eventually, but we're seeing it already. We're
Yeah.
starting to see it already. Like, look at what happened with Sam Altman. Somebody threw a fucking firebomb at his house. I'm not
Yeah.
advocating for that in any
No.
way. I don't advocate for violence. And he's real quick going out there saying, maybe we shouldn't be taxing the lower class income tax or
Well, that's
things like that.
all.
It's
That's
all an
all.
illusion,
Yeah.
but at the same time, eventually the dam breaks.
I think it's
Like
breaking.
eventually the dam is breaking. We like people are mad and
Yes.
nobody wants to start an actual war. And everybody knows that starting a war, a civil war, would be the most disastrous thing that this country could ever do to itself. And we would set ourselves back 100 fucking years or more
Well, civil. I
overnight.
mean, I think
Civil war destroys everything.
yes.
Everything. You think people think they want civil war. People think they
No.
want shit like that because they see the corruption and they see they can do things. But civil war means roads are gone. You don't go to school. Your kids are no longer in schools. Your kids are not going to college. You're not sending them across the fucking country to go to college to that school they really wanted to get into to get the degree they're really interested in. You ain't fucking sending them in a rampant corrupt system that is now in civil war. You're not going to send your kids and may never see them again. You're not going to go travel. That is the direction Trump wants to take us. That is the direction they're going to try and push us towards through rampant corruption and transparent corruption. They're just going to do it in the open because they want to test the limits of what people are willing to take.
And that's what Trump's been doing. I mean, he's been testing the limits. But I think that people are waking up to the fact that it's not you're talking about civil war. It's not a fight between red states and blue states. Let's say it really is a fight between the rich and the rest of us. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why right wing media continuously points fingers at people lower on the ladder and trans people and others, the others that as Trump, look what they're doing to Tallarico, for example. Tallarico is a real Christian and they're terrified of him and he's doing rather well in the polls, thankfully, and hopefully he wins. But they're going after him, calling him six genders, Tallarico. Of course, somebody said something about cisgender and so they're so ignorant. They call him six genders, and they're calling him Talafrico, and he's a hit on Jesus and all this because
Yet
he's
you have a golden Trump statue that they're actually praying to,
exactly,
like
exactly.
a literal golden calf things going on. And we're like, I have my issues with Tallarico because he has used James Carville for his
Uh
campaign.
oh,
And I think James Carville
really? I
is a
didn't know
fucking,
that. Oh
yeah, he's
yeah.
a fucking
Oh fuck
racist
him.
and
I
misogynist piece of
hate.
shit. I
Yeah.
hate James Carville.
Cheers to
And I
that.
think, and I think Tallarico needs to and should have dumped him a long time ago.
That's
But
a
who am
shame
I?
to hear
Who
that.
am I to say? It's a shame. It is.
Hmm.
And that was used to promote him over Jasmine Crockett, who I think was a better
Ah.
candidate and a better choice. And so I'm I don't live in Texas, so I don't have to vote for him, so it doesn't matter. But I'm disappointed that Jasmine Crockett was not chosen because
Yeah.
she was the best
No,
candidate. She was the
I
best
wanted her
choice.
too. I wanted her too, but I
Um,
want Tallarico to win now. I mean, I hope
yeah,
he does. Yeah.
yeah, and it's stupid that they do attack Tallarico like that. I
Because they
know
got
why they
nothing
do.
else. They have
Again,
nothing else. This is it.
again, it's the death of dignity. Like there's no
Yes.
dignity in
It's
political discourse because people don't have discussions. It's always
right.
either a debate or an argument. And there's only winners in debates and arguments. There's never learning. It's only I win or you
Yeah.
lose.
It's
We don't
juvenile.
fucking learn. It's
Mhm.
juvenile. And yes, the dam is breaking and people are waking up.
I
Like,
think so.
I think the fact that I think it's Bill Cassidy, Senator Cassidy, who voted for
Hmm.
Republican, who lost his primary and then voted for the War Powers Act in the
Mhm.
Senate, and it passed. Susan Collins voted for it. Lisa Murkowski voted for it, and one other Republican voted for it alongside Bill Cassidy. John Fetterman voted against it because he's blue MAGA, because he
He's
is MAGA. He may as well just change parties at this
yeah,
point. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, get
he's
out of our
disgusting.
party. You are
Uh-huh.
not a Democrat. You do not represent what we want the Democratic Party to actually be. And I don't care what the National
Oh yeah,
Party is right now. They're garbage. What we bring to the party in the future is what happens, is what the
he's
party becomes.
he's
And
a perfect Republican. Because he's such a whiny little victim. He's always, oh, they're saying this
yeah,
about me. They're saying that. It's like,
his feelings are
no.
hurt for
Uh
everything
huh.
because he
Uh
has
huh.
no masculinity. His manhood is as small as he
It's
is.
like, put on a
Um,
fucking pair of pants, please.
I,
You're in the Senate, damn it.
I wouldn't even say he's center. Like, there is no
Disgrace.
center in the U.S. Bernie Sanders is center
Yeah,
in
Bernie.
most nations. So
That's right.
he's
You're
not
right.
center. He's right.
No, no, exactly.
He's right. He always has been. He just put on Democratic clothing and said, "I'm a Democrat and vote for me." And he's right.
He ran as
He
a
showed his
progressive.
color.
That's the same thing as Kristen Cinema did the same thing, and
Yeah.
then they turn into whatever this. I guess they get money from APAC
Hmm.
and all other places, and that's it. That's all that matters.
And this is all again the death of political discourse. Like, there's no fucking
Yep.
real discourse in our country. We're on the
It's
verge.
extinction.
We're
Yeah.
on the verge of a new technological revolution, which, for good or bad, we're on the verge of a new technological revolution, and we have the dumbest fucking people in
Right.
charge
The
because the
stupidest.
entire thing is idiocracy. We've turned American politics into idiocracy because we further allowed money to be entrenched into the system, and it does come back to the money. It comes back to the fucking Citizens United
Yep.
enabled more blatant
That's
corruption
it.
and I'll use it, transparent corruption, because that's what it is. It's transparent corruption. It is
Yeah.
in the open. It is killing dignity by making Mark Wayne Mullen the head of DHS. It is, and his cowboy hat,
Oh,
or having Christy Nome
pathetic.
and her dress up outfits for DHS and taking photos illegally in
All
front
right.
of prisoners in another nation and using it as propaganda. And thanks, Courtney. I am not the technical revolution. My brain doesn't work that fast yet. Um, we're getting there. But like, we're on the verge of a technical revolution and an intellectual revolution, and the idea of a post-work society. Like, we could actually get to a post-work society in the next 5 years. Like, I could envision us being 5, 10 years down the road, being in a post-work society, and where all we're doing is focusing on creating
That would be
new
nice.
science, new art, new
Yeah.
music, new investigations. But it's
Wouldn't
all
that be
because we
nice?
want to create, not because we have to, because we're dying for food. Universal basic income. We could be having real political discourse
Right.
about the use of AI and the monetary gain we could have because it is
You're right.
because AI is not artificial intelligence. And if you've read the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, it's interesting parallel on the use. I won't. Yeah, I will. On the use of aggregated intelligence, and or the idea of aggregated intelligence is that's what it is. AI is an aggregation of our intellect over the entire span of human history that is recorded on the internet and in books. We could
Mhm.
literally use that to make infinite wealth, and we could have political discourse on it. But we don't have any political dignity anymore because we have fucking clowns who run our nation. We have the dumbest people in a kakistocracy.
Right. And that's all they care about. And of course, Trump and his maladministration are dragging us backwards with the whole world moving on to renewable energy and whatnot. They're putting a stop to just any kind of green revolution. Forget it. There's no revolution. It's a devolution. They literally unplugged the charging stations at federal facilities. So out
Hmm.
of spite, out of out of juvenile spite, and that's the whole thing. You know, you can't stop progress, but they will try because it helps them steal. Big oil, they need money.
Hmm.
Money in politics is the root of all this evil. If we got money out of politics, Trump would have to find another grift. That's the whole thing. They would all run because they're not
Well,
public servants. That's for sure.
well, this would be a whole another topic of
You're
conversation. I
right.
think you and
Right.
I could have is the whole right wing is a multi-level marketing scheme.
Yeah,
Everything about
it's a scam.
right wing culture is an MLM. Everything from their churches to their business types that they do for the actual at home MLMs. Their podcasts are basically all MLM
That's
model.
all it's
Their
about.
politics system is MLM model. MLMs are also cult model, which is also a fabric of American system, which we need to address in itself. And again, that would be another topic of
Hmm.
conversation. That would be a lot of fun to dig into. Is America is a nation of cults, and those cults have turned into MLMs and churches and have continued to radicalize the nation further and further to the right
Hmm.
over decades of MLMing us into what we are. Um, but I also said we were going to cut it a little early today.
Yes.
So, Tara has another obligation here coming up, and I want to give her a couple minutes to be able to chill out. Question before we do that, Darvin.
Yes.
Thank you for asking. Nick, do you think that's all right wing or just the extremists? Are there any right center people? Yes,
Who?
I would say I would say, and if we actually wanted to get into real political discourse, someone right center would be Joe Walsh right now.
Well, he's not
Or
in Congress anymore, but
I
he's
know, yeah. But
he's.
in
I
terms
love
of
him.
like,
He's great. He's
in
been on my
in
show
terms
too.
of like, are all right wing or are just extremists, or are they any right center people? Yes, there are right center people. The problem with right center people is just like moderate Democrats, they're moderate, and moderates will moderate towards the easiest solution, which tends to be from the right wing because they make everything ABC dumb. But if you wanted examples of somebody who would be, in my eyes, would be considered like a conservative Democrat and not a regressive Democrat, because centrists are regressives, but Joe is not part of that center
Hmm.
community in like a real way. Is Joe Walsh, Bobby Jones, maybe? Um, but I also think Bobby's pretty progressive in a lot of areas, and I would even see Joe these days as becoming a light progressive in a lot of his views because he's come a long way. And so, yeah, I think there are a couple really good examples of what we should be striving for discourse, but we can only get there if we can get back dignity into our political system, which means we have to remove and excise the wound of all of the corruption.
Yeah.
We have to do that. No, Susan Collins is not a fucking moderate.
Right.
Susan Collins is the most destructive human being, one of the
Oh,
most
she's the
destructive human
worst.
beings in the Senate. Her and
Yeah.
Lisa Murkowski are
Yeah.
two of the most destructive
Gave us
senators out there.
Kavanaugh. All right. But
Lisa Murkowski has ties to the Epstein stuff with the Maxwell family. Like,
oh my
I
God,
I
I
don't
didn't know
trust a
that.
fucking thing that Lisa Murkowski says. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
trust her in any ways. And Susan Collins only votes for or against the Republican Party when she knows it's not going to be a
Yeah.
problem. So,
She's pathetic. And somebody made a comment about Fetterman, how he votes with the Democratic Party 93% of the time, and that might be true. And this is my pushback to that a little bit. Just that but that might be true. The Democrats don't have power at this moment, but Fetterman, he breaks with the Democrats on defining base silencing issues. So he does
mhm,
more harm than good in that. You can vote on post offices and whatnot, but when comes to Israel, Palestine, immigration, shutdowns, war powers. These are things that he gives the Republicans another talking point. Oh, see, look, even the Dems, we got to. This is
mhm.
bipartisan. He casts decisive votes on things like confirming Mark Wayne Mullen to the DHS and things like that. So he does a lot of harm in that way.
There's this whole thing where you have to live your values and actually
Hmm.
stand up for them. And if he's unwilling to stand firm on the really important
Right.
issues and he's only voting on the easy ones to
Yes.
vote with the Democrats so that he can say he votes along the Democratic Party
That's
line
it.
this many times. But when it comes to important issues and issues that actually impact Americans
That's right.
in a derogatory and destructive way, he always votes with
That's
Republicans.
it. And then he uses their talking points about Trump derangement syndrome, which,
Yeah,
as we know, Trump derangement syndrome is thinking that tax
is
cheating, draft
rational
dodging.
thinking.
Yeah, well, Trump derangement syndrome is a patriotic imperative for, looking, but it really, Trump derangement syndrome is thinking that thing, that tax cheating, draft dodging, wannabe dictator con man is fit for the presidency. That's what Trump derangement syndrome is, and enabling it. So yeah, where Trump, if they and their version of Trump derangement syndrome is a patriotic imperative, but truly it is, know it's bizarro world that we have to
Yeah,
live in. you know.
yeah. That's what happens when you bring about rampant corruption and nepotism as a
Yes.
lifestyle
Right.
instead of politicking when we're talking about politics. All right. No, it's not even, I don't even think it's willful ignorance. It's purposeful ignorance. Like
Yes.
willful just means you're willing it to, I guess, would be willing to happen. Like you're okay with it happening and you're just going along with it. I think purposeful ignorance is, or
Hmm.
intentional ignorance is more true. They're
Right.
intending to be
Right.
dumb
Right.
and they're
Right.
intending
It's
to
true.
ignore this.
Well, that's like, it's like the only It's what was I going to say? It's the
Yeah, weaponizing competence is a great
yeah,
term of it too.
it's the American way now, is to never, for Republicans, it's to never take in new information, never learn, never ever change. Like that's the new American dream. Like never
M-
grow up, never ever learn, never
Maybe
evolve.
weaponized ignorance. I think weaponized ignorance might be would be the
Yeah.
best term because you're right. Willful and intentional do mostly equal each other definition wise. You're right, Court. Thank you for that. I think
Hmm.
let's combine them with what we got is weaponized ignorance. That's where we're at is weaponized ignorance and
Hmm.
weaponized kleptocracy.
Oh yeah,
So
ignorance is like, that is their mother's milk in the Republican Party. Willful ignorance. Don't ever, and yeah, I'm sure.
weaponized victimhood.
Yes, and when you, that's the other thing there. And somebody else wrote on the chat about the billionaires. Oh, everyone's picking on us. We're the victim.
Oh, poor us.
You
Woe
know.
is us who have all
Yeah.
the money in the fucking
We're
world and are oppressing all of you.
Stop
Woe is
picking
us. Now
on
you're
us.
being mean.
Right. And then
Shut the fuck up.
when Bezos says, well, how, I don't know how taxing me it's, you could tax me, but that's not going to help the nurse in Queens. Okay. Really?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
yes it will.
Yes, the
Yes
fuck
it
it is.
will. So there's no
Yes, it will.
follow up,
Shut
there's no
like yeah.
pushback, there's no, you know what I mean? This is why,
Hmm.
anyway, the mainstream media is just completely
Is garbage.
is garbage. It's a garbage.
Yeah.
So that's why you got to
That's why
follow
we're here.
this, really. So, all right,
Tara,
guys,
promote
can
yourself.
you please
Oh,
click
thanks
this?
to whoever
Yes.
scanned the QR code.
Before I even said it, click the QR code and subscribe to my Substack, and also follow us on youtube.com/C for channel /Tarabuster. We have a show tonight, 8:30 p.m. So come back and we'll be hanging out tonight. All right, and this
Awesome.
is Tara Jr.
Junior said hi right at the end too. Perfect. Come support Junior
Yes.
as you get Tara tonight. Tara's on tonight. Love it. Thanks, Tara. I love having
Thank
these.
you.
These are really good conversations that we're
Yes,
having.
I love it.
And then come join me at Sick of This Shit Publications, where I'm doing discussions on masculinity, chronic illness, and
Hmm.
I'm working on some really cool tools that I was talking with Tara
That's
about.
right. Yep.
Um, and excited to start doing some more stuff there. So come join me at Sick of the Shit Publications. We've got some really cool shows lined up over the next few weeks. As always, lots of candidate interviews and lots
Hmm.
of discussions with folks like Walter Ryan, Evan Fields, Dr. Eric Lulov.
Good stuff.
You don't want to miss it. And then come here with Banner and Backbone. Come support us here while we're doing this, paid or free. Either way helps. Get the word out, spread what we're doing, share, like, and subscribe, do all the things. If you're here with us on
Yes.
Substack, hit the like button or hit the heart button. And then if you aren't subscribed to us, hit the subscribe button in the top left. You'll get the three of us, Banner and Backbone, Tara Devlin, Nick Parrow. And we should be joined next week again by our good friend Chris Goldsmith. He's out today with family, so he's taking the day off. Really glad that he's got some time for himself.
Yeah.
He's been doing a lot of stuff.
You gotta take.
And we should have a guest here soon too, Jonathan Buckwalter. He's another veteran. I spoke with him last
Oh.
night. He's a history teacher, and knows a lot about 20th century history. That's his
Oh,
main
wow.
focus area.
Love
We
it.
had a really
Love
good
it.
discussion last night, and I told him I'd love to have him on for one of the shows to talk about
Yeah.
all of this stuff in the historical and present day context
That's
too.
great.
Maybe we'll get Doc Steph Wilson back with us, because she's our resident historian.
Yes. Yes.
And so she's been out doing a ton of things. And so thanks everyone for being here with us. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
today. Thanks for being part of the discussion with us. Thanks for asking great questions as always. And we'll be back next week for the beginning of part 2 of Surviving Autocracy by Masha Gessen. We have just finished up chapters 5 through 9, which is the end of part 1. Next week, we'll be starting part 2. We'll do that in 2 parts, and we'll go through each part in 2 parts. Sure, we can celebrate that. And so, everyone, thanks for being here. Have a great Friday. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see y'all next week. Tara, thanks so
See
much, and
ya.
have a great day.
See you soon.